Hi everyone, welcome back once again. In the last video we covered about get method and we did a little bit modification in our function so we can get a single product on the base of ID. So far in this API development we have used two get method. The first one is giving the complete product list which we have in our database, and the second one is to get a specific product on the base of ID, and we have done a post request. Through that we can able to create document in our database, which is internal database in this JSON sample JSON file. So in this video we will focus on update method and delete method. So let's me give this comment update method, and this update method is quite similar to the post method, but we have to do a little bit modification in that so we can utilize it as an update method. So what I can do, I'll simply call my app variable, and this time I will use patch. So there are two methods when it's come to updating document into the database. One is put and the other one is patch. So let me open my, here you can see that we have a put and patch. The major difference between these two methods is when you use put, it will update the entire document in your database, but when you use patch, it will only update those fields which user have did any kind of modification or update. So these are the two methods you have. You can go with anyone, but I don't want to update my entire document. I want to update only that specific field which user wants to update. So for that I'm going to use this patch method. Okay, let's come here and I'll use the patch, and the same thing I have to do, the same ID, this URL I have to provide. And by the time you know why, because this time again I have to get the ID and I have to configure the ID and then I have to update the data. So I will provide this URL and same conventions, request, then response, use the fat arrow functions, and this time I want to send the data. So right now I'm not going to create that update function in this data JSON file because the things will become very complicated. So I'll simply send a generic message. Okay, so I'll say status, and the status code is for 200. I'll send a JSON format, and in this I can send a status to be success. And instead of sending the data, because I'm not writing anything into because I'm not updating anything into my database, so I will simply send a generic message. So I will say message, and in that I can say DAD, data updating. Okay, and this same thing I have to do for the delete method as well. So simply copy this and come down and paste it, and this time instead of patch we'll use delete, and that's it, delete, and the status code is going to be 400. Okay, we have to check the ID because we want to find out the ID, and on that ID I have to update the document which user wants to update. Okay, so simply come up here and simply grab this code, this piece of code here, come down and simply paste it here because we want to check whether that ID exists in our database or not. Okay, so let's come here and let's change this data here. Instead of sending the message, what I want to do when the user deleted the data, I don't want to send anything back to the user. So I'll say data, and in that I'll send null. Okay, that's it, null. So let's come back to our Postman and let's see everything's working fine. So let's check the single post, it's working fine. Now let's simply copy this URL, open a new tab and simply paste and save it, and this time this will call update product and save it. So I'm updating the product. So for that what I can do, I can simply use this patch method and I have to provide the ID and what I want to update. So here select the body raw and it's going to be a JSON format. So I simply want to change the name, so I'll say name and and DAULAT. Nothing will happen. I'm just giving this in just normal way. So if I send, you will see the message data updated. So everything's working fine. Same for the delete. If I come here and update here, and this time I will select this delete method, and if I click on delete, you will see I want to delete number 5. So we are not sending any response back because that defined to null, and this is the 404 method. Okay, so this is working fine. If I add something else, I will get an error message. Okay, you have provided wrong ID, and that's coming from this if statement where we are checking the ID. Okay, so with this we have successfully implemented all the HTTP requests. So we started with get method for getting all the data, then we moved to the post method. So here it is, post method for getting a single post. Then we have created one more get method for getting a single product details, so single product. Then we have created that update method, and then delete method. So far we have done with that all. So for this API we only need this 5 method for getting the data from the server. Okay, so that's it in this video. In the next video we're going to refactor this code even in more better way. Okay, right now you can see that we have a lot of repetitive code and it's very hard to read, so we're going to refactor that in the next video.